What is up? In this video, I'm going to show you how I use Avenue.io. In particular, how I use the stock finder to do a lot of extremely useful sorting for me so that I can easily find the best stocks to purchase depending on what my objectives are. Okay? So, as you can see up here, we've got a couple of quick links to the new todays. I use this to make, not necessarily daily, but relatively frequent purchases of new people who look promising. Then we've got top earnings. So basically, which stocks are having the highest earnings. So you can just click that and get a list of those individuals. Top dividends. This is probably my favorite, just because the bigger the dividend, regardless of how much I pay initially, the bigger the dividend, the longer I'm going to hold it, the more I'm going to get out of it, right? Especially because people with the top dividends are the people who are definitely most likely to be the most committed to Empire Avenue, so they're essentially the best investment or the safest investment. Um, and then top yields. Yield is basically just a function of dividend and price. So yield can be misleading. Low value newbies with a high dividend can be misleading, and it's definitely volatile. Um, and I definitely recommend searching by yield, but just putting in a couple of different caveats in the search. I don't recommend using top yield right here, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a couple of strategies that I use to kind of promote buybacks. So essentially, promoting it's basically me reaching out to people that I do not own, buying some of them in hopes that they will come back and buy some of me. Although, while doing that, we're going to sort so that what I'm buying are not complete garbage stocks, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to set search to 100. 100 is the largest number that you can use. 100 entries is the largest number you can use in the transaction agent. So I just always set it to 100. And then stocks not owned. We want that because we want to buy people we don't own already. Average divs of shares, what it'll be sorted by. That's fine with me. Next, we're going to want in highest to lowest. That's fine with me as well. Next, we're going to want to hit advanced. And then what I'm going to do is share price more than 100, and dividend yield is greater than zero point 0.3 with a minimum div above zero point 0.3 as well. And then we're going to search. Oh, wait, I didn't. All right, yeah, so then we're going to search. And there we go. So we've got 85. Now, before I start buying anybody, I definitely want to kind of check them out, make sure they look good. Yeah, so they're all in the 200s, which puts them, right on the same level as me. Well, not all of them, but the ones at the top of the list, at least, are all at the 200s. Oh, that reminds me. There's another couple of checks we want to hit real quick before we just accept that. So we want to make sure they have a profile picture. I would pretty much recommend always hitting that, just because if they didn't take the effort to upload a profile picture, like they don't care, right? And then share plus or minus more than, we'll say, 0.01. So that's essentially making sure that they're increasing in value. All right. So we don't want people who are decreasing necessarily. We just want people that are increasing, at least to begin. That's our preferred type of individual, right? So this is the list we've come up with. Let's check them out real quick. Make sure they look good. Yeah, they've got pretty solid dividends. I typically like dividends above zero point 0.3. I mean, if it's below zero point 0.3, if it's below zero point 0.3 and their share price is increasing, even just a little bit, then that's okay. I typically like, my preferred stock is dividends like 0.5 and above. But but 0.3 is not bad, especially for the what we're trying to do, which is basically encourage others to buy back in us, right? So we're going to go ahead and select all 43 of these individuals, and we're going to just buy 25. You don't have to buy 25. You could literally just buy one. I'm going to buy 25. Just so that it's kind of giving them a chance. Um, so that's one thing I'll do, and you can actually export a lot of this data as well. So you can really if you know how to use Excel or some kind of other uh, spreadsheet software, you can really dive in here and find even more information for yourself. Personally, I don't take it that far because it's just the trade-off is just not it's just not that serious for me compared to the amount of time it would take. But that is definitely something you can do. Um, so next, I'm going to show you what I like, kind of the search options that I use for a much better investment, right? So instead of stocks not owned, we're going to do all stocks. Average div a share and highest to lowest, leave those the same in this particular case. So share price, we're going to do more than 200. Average div a share of 0.5, and a yield, we'll leave the yield at 0.3. And then share plus or minus, we'll leave that at 0.1 as well. And then also profile picture, right? And then search. And then, okay, so we've got 75, right? That's pretty solid. So we'll just make sure, we'll just kind of double check, look over the data. Basically, you want to make sure this plus or minus column over here is green. As a general rule, just make sure that plus or minus column is green. Unfortunately, there used to be 7-day charts, 7-day price data, 7-day percent, and there's also 30-day information as well. But for whatever reason, it doesn't display in the software anymore, which is truly makes me sad because that was a much better snapshot of this over here. Because this is just today. This is share price increase within the last whatever time period. I'm not sure. I guess it's like a day, 24 hours or whatever. Or yeah, so um, basically, since we don't have this information, we just need to sort a little bit better. So you want to buy higher cost stocks and get ones with higher dividends, basically, just so that you're kind of hedging your bets. So I'm gonna go ahead and buy 25 of these folks as well. And as you can see here, I'm maxed out on some of these people. So what I've been doing essentially is just kind of buying, and I own shares in pretty much all of these folks. So I've been just making purchases over time, uh, and I really like the $200 price point, assuming that the dividends are high enough and the share price is increasing. I really like the 200 to 300 range price point for good investment stocks because they've kind of passed a certain level of critical mass where as long as the user's social media stays even borderline active, they're going to be pretty profitable forever. And even if they're not, I can still sell them and recoup a large amount of the loss. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I make decisions on who to get rid of. All right. So we're going to go to portfolio stocks, and then we're going to get rid of all of basically all of this information, and we're just going to do share plus or minus, and we're going to do less than if they're less than 0.01. I want to know, right? So we're going to go ahead and search. which that means essentially that they are just inside of a negative, like a decrease in price. That's one of the things too. Is this software is actually kind of weird. Like it doesn't actually like, I don't know. It doesn't just give me less than 0.01. It also it gives 0.01 and negative 0.01. And I wish, let's just try putting in a negative and see what happens. Did that work? Okay, yeah, that works. Nice. Okay, so anyway, we just want to know. We want to know who from our portfolio has been decreasing, right? Which only 31 individuals in my portfolio have been decreasing, so that's pretty solid. And if they're in the top 5K, if they have this top 5K thing right here, I'm not really super worried about their decrease in price, to be honest, because that's just it's just not a huge deal to me. Um, Now, if their share price, one search query you could add is share prices less than 100, right? And what this basically does is it gives you a list of the people that you've purchased as newbies that haven't quite made it out of haven't quite made it past that marker yet, and it'll let you know who you might want to consider getting rid of. So these guys are both newbie stocks, and they need to be gotten rid of. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and sell them here. That's one thing I'm not. So hold on, we'll just do sell all shares owned, complete transaction. Yes. One thing I don't like is kind of how redundant the list system is. It makes it a little bit clumsy to deal with the list. So I need to, well, let's go ahead and reload the portfolio. So what I need to do now is I need to refresh the list that those guys were on, which was my newbie list. I just call that purgatory. It's like the list that they've got to earn their way out of that list, and that's where I just put all of my newbies that I buy until they get transferred out somewhere else. So, all right, so we just did the portfolio. Let's refresh the ticker just for the sake of being thorough. And lists. And then we'll load this list. And, okay, good. Wait. Yeah, so it was these two, I believe. I know it was definitely this one, and if it wasn't that one, we can just get that one out of here anyway. So then we're going to go to this little widget thing, edit list. Well, it's not an edit list, sorry. Remove from list. So just select who you want removed and remove them. And so that's essentially just a couple of the stock finder functions that you can use to kind of speed up your purchases and increase the quality of your purchases as well. And yeah, guys, if you didn't watch the first video where I just went through a little bit of the Avenue.io user interface, you can check that. There'll be an annotation in the description. I mean, not in the description. Excuse me. At the bottom of the screen right now. And if you're on mobile, there'll be an annotation in the description. I really appreciate your time, guys. You guys take care.